Hey everyone, Duke Nougat 3D here with a little surplus review for you guys since I just got these in today as well, very late. And today I have for you these Italian Pirelli Modello 356 Occhiali Antigas, which roughly translates to Model 356 goggles anti-gas or anti-gas goggles. So these are very common. These are very common to find labeled as NATO rubber goggles or NATO goggles. Sometimes even listed as British World War I gas mask goggles, or because Soldier of Fortune is selling Black Veil respirator replicas, and they needed a suitable set of goggles to sell with them, so they picked up these and said, hey, they're like the World War I goggles, even though really there wasn't a whole lot of goggles that were like this, but whatever. But anyways, I don't really know much about these, and it isn't even confirmed, more or less, that these are actually Italian Modello 356 goggles. They're very, very similar, but there are a few notable differences, and we have a few theories as to why those differences are, but I'll get into that in a moment. So I don't have a whole lot of info on these. The actual Modello 356 Occhiali were basically intended as a set of goggles issued with half-mask respirators of various sorts, and that's really about it. I assume that they were present around during the 1940s and well into the post-war era. And I do know that Secure, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that company right. Basically, the company that now owns Pirelli, that makes Italy's current issue gas mask, the M90. They have a variation of these goggles still being produced, which are made out of black rubber. They are designated the Modello 888. And the lens shape is a bit wider. Instead of being round, they are more of a elliptical, sort of oval shape. Not oval, they're just, think of like the MSA Full Vision or All Vision, or All Service, whatever the fuck you want to call it. How the lenses are sort of wider like that, and they have like plastic clamps like an industrial mask. But enough about that. I'm just saying that these goggles have been around for quite a long time, and there's not much to say other than that. Now, as to why I'm not sure if these are actually Pirelli goggles is because if you search up Pirelli Modello 356 Occhiali, the ones that you will see will have a ENPI marking on the forehead. They will say Made in Italy down here. They will probably say Pirelli somewhere, obviously, and then the buckles will be sort of like an old diving mask, how it's like a chromed steel wire loop, and there's a little looped wire bar through that. But instead these have brass gas mask style buckles, which is interesting. And then sometimes the straps are a bit more intricately molded, whereas these ones are just a plain strip of rubber. Although I have seen the actual Pirelli issued ones or produced ones that did have a strap like this. So that's the whole reason I'm not entirely sure. However, going with my sources, we do know that Italian masks were very like anything that was produced during World War II, post-war the quality quite declined, and so there was a lot of variation on the molds post-war of various masks and rubber-produced items, and so one would lead to assume that these are in fact Pirelli Modello 356. However, they just lack the markings and have a different strap setup for whatever reason. Again, that's not totally confirmed. That's just my 2 cents on it. So other than that, they're pretty neat goggles. They are in fact gas tight and airtight. They are probably waterproof to some degree if you can get them to seal correctly. However, I have a little bit of difficulty myself getting them completely watertight. But other than that, they kind of hold up well, and the lenses are fully replaceable. There's nothing holding them in. You can just peel this rubber back and just pop the lenses out if you want and replace them with different colored lenses, I suppose. And the strap is also replaceable. I would probably, if you're actually going to get some use out of these, I would recommend replacing this rubber strap with an elastic one, just because I mean, if it had like the older style buckle where it was like a diving mask where it didn't have these little wavy bumps digging into the rubber, I'd say that'd be a lot better to have with this type of strap. But since it does have the gas mask style strap, using a plain strip of rubber like this, I'd imagine is going to get chewed up pretty badly through heavy use. That's the main complaint I have about these. But other than that, just a simple pair of goggles. There's nothing to see inside, and they are completely devoid of markings, which is why it's been so hard to actually find any legitimate information on these. But that being said, that's really all I have to say on these. They're really neat. They're around like the $20 mark at the very most, so if you wanted a neat set of goggles you can just fuck around with, I guess they're all right in my book. So that's about it. Just getting a little bit more info out there on a piece of very common surplus that nobody seems to know a damn thing about. So, that being said, I'm Duke with 3D. If you have any comments, questions, corrections, or concerns, drop them in the comments below, and I'll see you all later.